Okay, we hear all the time about the race for oil or for rare minerals, but it turns out there's this other global competition happening, mostly in secret, right under our feet. And it's a race for a resource so fundamental, it makes everything else look, well, secondary. We're going to dive into this silent global hunt for what's called fossil water.
So, what is this stuff? What's this hidden resource that is countries pouring billions into finding it, way, way out of the public eye? What are they all looking for?
Well, here are a few clues. For starters, it's been locked away underground for thousands, sometimes even millions of years. Think of it like a one-time inheritance from the planet. You use it once, and that's it. It's gone. It's not oil, it's not gold, but our entire modern agricultural system is starting to depend on it. And here's the real kicker. It is completely 100% non-renewable.
Okay. Enough with the mystery. Let's pull back the curtain and finally talk about what this ancient treasure really is. The answer is fossil water. Now, this is not the groundwater you learned about in school. This is ancient water, trapped in deep underground pockets or aquifers since way back before the last ice age. It's basically a liquid time capsule. And here's the most critical part you have to remember. It is totally cut off from today's water cycle. No amount of rain is ever going to refill these reserves. The timescale here is just mind-boggling. You've got water from melting glaciers from over 12,000 years ago, seeping deep into the earth. And for literally the entire history of human farming, it just sat there, untouched. It's only now, in our lifetime, that we've got the technology to go down there and pump it up. We are literally using prehistoric water to grow our food today. And this is the mental shift you really have to make. We're all used to thinking of water as this renewable thing, rain, rivers, a cycle. Fossil water? It's not part of that at all. Tapping into it is like breaking the seal on a time capsule. Once you've used what's inside, it's empty for good. So that leads to the obvious question, right? Why? Why this desperate worldwide search? Why are we drilling so deep into the Earth's past? If you want to understand this whole situation, you have to understand the motive. And the motive, well, it's pretty much a perfect storm of global pressures. First, you've got a global population that's just exploding, and everyone needs water. At the exact same time, climate change is making rainfall way more unpredictable. And of course, both of those things feed into a massive, intensifying demand for more food, which takes a staggering amount of water to grow. This chart right here shows the problem in a nutshell, especially for countries in dry parts of the world. That first little bar, that's their renewable supply, what they get from rain and rivers. That second huge bar, that's what they actually need. That giant gap in the middle is the deficit. And for a growing number of countries, fossil water is the only thing they can use to fill it. And we are not talking about some small niche problem. We're talking about 2 billion people. Just let that number sink in. That's how many people are living in countries with high water stress as we speak. For a quarter of the world's population, the temptation to tap into that ancient water is becoming almost impossible to resist. So we get the motive. We get why it's so tempting. But this is where we get to the heart of the conflict. Because using this water, it's not a simple solution. It's a massive, high-stakes gamble. On one side, you have this incredible promise. But on the other, you have catastrophic peril. So let's just lay out this trade-off. The promise is massive, right? Food security for millions of people, economic growth, a safety net against devastating droughts. But the peril is just as big. We're talking about permanently emptying these aquifers, sparking conflicts between nations, and even causing the ground itself to sink. And these consequences, they're not temporary. They're irreversible. When we say land subsidence, we're not talking about a pothole. We mean entire cities can literally start to sink as the ground compacts beneath them. If you're near a coast, you pump out all the fresh water and salt water rushes in, poisoning the well forever. And then there's the simplest, most brutal consequence of all. When it's gone, it is gone forever. This quote really just hits the nail on the head. We are effectively mining water. That's the perfect way to think about it. We aren't harvesting a crop that will grow back next year. We're extracting a finite resource, like coal or iron. It is a one-time deal from nature. It's like a bank account that you can only ever withdraw from. Which brings us to the end game. We are knowingly, consciously using a resource that has no tomorrow. So the final, most urgent question becomes, How in the world do you manage something when you know for a fact that the end point is zero?
When you boil it all down, it comes to this. We are spending our planet's water inheritance. Just think about that. For all of human history, every generation before us left this resource untouched. It was like a planetary savings account, a backup plan. And our generation is the one deciding to cash it all in to solve today's problems. And that just leaves us with this one final, really kind of haunting question. It's simple, but the answer is anything but. Once we've completely drained the past, what are we going to drink in the future?